What's up, my comic comrades? Today, as promised, we're kicking off our coverage of the brand new 6-issue Hulk miniseries by Donny Cates and Ryan Ottley, which is spinning out of the events of Al Ewing's epic Immortal Hulk title. But as you probably imagine, Cates is seemingly taking Hulk in a new direction, with this issue addressing where Bruce Banner Hulk finds himself after the events of Immortal Hulk. For those of you who missed that title, especially the big issue 50 finale, we covered that a couple weeks ago, and you can watch that right here. Having said that, this book is written to be a clean jumping on point for new readers, so it'll all come together for you as we get into the issue. With that said, let's jump into it. The issue starts off with us seeing the Hulk punching a wall as we get narration from Dr. Strange saying, "I have long held a theory about the Hulk. I've never shared it before now because, well, frankly, it terrifies me to my very core. We have always thought of the Hulk as a manifestation of Dr. Banner's trauma that he experienced as a child. Or perhaps his ID, his shadow, his fury, his rage. But what if? What if the Hulk is none of those things? What if he exists to protect us from Banner?" And we're reading all this as the Hulk is punching some massive doorway in the middle of nowhere, like really going to town on it, making his fist bleed. As we see Banner on the other side of the doorway walk away, which is kind of crazy that Banner has trapped the Hulk somewhere, but also Doctor Strange is posing the question, what if the Hulk exists to protect us from Bruce Banner? Meaning, does Doctor Strange know something we don't know? Has Banner always been evil somehow? Well, let's keep reading to find out. On the next page, we see Banner continue to walk in what we could only assume is a laboratory as he goes to a locker that says Captain on it as he pulls out a lab coat and puts it on. Betty Ross then comes up to him saying, "What are you doing?" He replies, "Betty, you shouldn't be here." She tells him, "You know you can't keep him locked in there." He replies, "It would appear I very much can," with her telling him, "Bruce, he's just a child. I'm worried about you. You're hurting yourself, hurting him. You can't blame yourself for what happened in El Paso." He yells at her saying, "I don't blame myself, I blame him." She says, "Bruce, please, you're scaring me. You don't sound like yourself." He tells her pissed off, "How would you know what I sound like? How would anyone? I'm only useful to any of you when I'm not here, and I have had enough. I never wanted this. I never wanted to be a superhero or a defender or an avenger or a monster. I wanted to discover things, to invent things. I wanted to push the boundaries of what's possible. I wanted to be a man of science." He then pushes a button saying engines to 20%. As we see the Hulk continue to punch the door, Bruce has locked him behind. Bruce continues to tell Betty, "This tumor started to grow inside of me, this sickness, and I was a fool to think it would stop growing. You saw what happened in El Paso. It's getting worse. And one of these days he's gonna come out and I'm never gonna wake up again. Do you get it, Betty? The Hulk is immortal. I'm not." Now, if you're wondering about this mysterious El Paso event, it's something that keeps getting mentioned throughout the issue, but we don't know exactly what happened in El Paso. It's one of the many questions this series raises. After Bruce says the Hulk is immortal and I'm not, he says, "But until then, it's my turn to push the boundaries." Betty then pleads with him saying, "Bruce, stop. This isn't going to work. He's going to get out. You know it. This is going to blow up in your face." He then laughs saying, "Well, you were there. Things blowing up in my face is how I got here. It might as well be how it ends." Now get out of my head, as we learn that Betty is not actually there, and the Hulk continues to punch the door, yelling Banner. We then see Banner sit in what we could only assume is the captain's chair saying, "These waves do not crash on me. They break on me because I am strong." Elsewhere, we are taken to the Avengers, where Spider-Man asks, "Hey, real quick, is anyone else very confused?" As we see Doctor Strange is talking to all the Avengers saying, "I know, it's a lot to take in, but it's why I have gathered you all here. This is potentially the greatest threat we have ever faced. If the events of El Paso have well and truly broken Bruce's mind, I fear we may be out of options." Captain Marvel then asks, "Do we have an official death count on El Paso yet?" Captain America replies, "One is too many." I have Iron Man tracking him now. He's moving through Wundagore toward an old Stark tech armory. They then ask, "Strange, what's happening? How is Bruce doing this?" See what I'm saying? Clearly something massive happened with Bruce and the Hulk in El Paso, but again, we don't know what yet. Anyway, Strange then answers Steve saying, "I don't know. What he's built, I don't believe even I could achieve it." I have scoured the earth searching and questioning every mystic and Omega level telepath who could do such a thing, and nothing. He couldn't have built it himself. It doesn't make any sense. The magic required, it's beyond. And Captain America asks, "What is happening?" Strange says, "I'm not sure how to say this without just saying it, but he's fractured his mind into parts. Rebuilt it and turned the Hulk into a starship." As we see the Hulk with body armor on, punching the Hulkbuster armor. But more on that in a second. Apparently, Bruce Banner has somehow turned the Hulk into a starship, a vehicle that he is piloting. Something so complex that Strange just said he can't figure out how he did it, even after searching and scouring the earth, questioning every Mystic and Omega level telepath. Crazy, but let's continue. Strange goes on to explain he split his psyche into 3 distinct parts. He's modified and upgraded the external frame with tech that he very violently stole from AIM and then somehow surgically implanted it into his, well, into the Hulk's own body. And he's built an immense mind palace, one like I have never seen. I witnessed it briefly in my astral form before I was cast out. Vast, complex, impenetrable. And at the very heart of it all, where the Hulk psyche should be, sits Bruce, a captain astride the bridge of his Starship Hulk. Let's just pause for a second because this idea is so out there and crazy from the minds of Donny Cates and Ryan Ottley that it might actually just work. Anyway, while all of this narration is happening, the Hulk is fighting Iron Man saying, "Stay down, Tony. You should know better by now. In all your time building armor, you have never built one that can beat mine. So for the last time, Tony, stay down and get the hell out of my way. You're alone, your armor is breaking, and I'm getting through that door one way or a..." But before he could finish his sentence, Tony's new Hulkbuster armor multiplies with him saying, "You really think I'm out of tricks?" As he starts shooting him with metal shards saying, "What you're feeling is adamantium nanoparticle shrapnel, Bruce." Nasty stuff. See, it burrows into skin, even yours. As it does, the nanoprogramming forges the adamantium at an atomic level, creating any shape or form I want. In this case, a cage. Sorry, Bruce. This is where it ends. After this, we get more narration from Doctor Strange explaining to the Avengers what's going on with Bruce and the Hulk, which in turn is explaining to us. Strange says, which brings me to the third element in this new Starship Mind Palace. Because as we all know, to make the Hulk's external body strong, the Hulk psyche must stay angry, which is why Bruce has caged it. Placed it in what he calls the engine room, as we see Banner in the engine room starting to push on the throttle, with Strange saying, with a push of his throttle, he controls the Hulk. As we see Banner pushing the throttle, causing infinite armies to start attacking the Hulk, which in turn makes him angry. So the more he pushes the throttle, the more armies will attack him, and the angrier the Hulk becomes, seemingly giving Banner the power to endlessly fill the Hulk with rage. At this point, with Banner filling Hulk with rage, he quite literally rips his arm out of the adamantium nanoparticle cage, which severs his arm from the elbow down. He just literally broke his arm off to get free. At which point, Iron Man pissed his pants a little, with the Hulk saying, "I say when it ends." The Hulk then starts laying into the Hulkbuster armor, tearing it to bits, eventually smashing it and ripping one of the arms off and putting it on its nub where his arm used to be. Tony then asks, "How are you doing this, Bruce? How did you know I wasn't in that suit?" He replies, "I didn't, but thanks for the heads up." As he fires a repulsor blast from the gauntlet he just attached to his arm, hitting the Hulkbuster suit Tony's actually in. Tony then tries to get up saying, "That is enough, Bruce. You're not getting through here. Do you understand me? Not while I'm standing." Hulk replies, "Good to know," while leaping towards him, punching him in the chest so hard he flies through another wall, but also the gauntlet he put on shatters from the force, revealing that his arm has already grown back. Now inside another room, a bloody Tony Stark says, "Please, don't do this." Hulk replies, "You know this might shock you, Tony, but I actually didn't come here for a fight. I'm here for this, what did you call it? Project Arc, right?" As we see a massive Celestial that Tony's been working on. Hulk then says, "You've been building it ever since you piloted this Celestial during the Null attack, using the latent Celestial energies to create a wormhole to a pocket dimension that you could evacuate civilians to in case of another event level attack. It's good work, Tony. I'm going to need to borrow it." Tony then says, "No, Bruce, you can't do this. The math isn't finished. It's not safe." He replies, "Isn't that what you're wanting, Tony? To be rid of me?" Tony tells him, "Bruce, not like this. Listen to me. You could die in there. You have no idea where it will take you." Bruce then replies, "And neither will you. Goodbye, Tony," as the Hulk walks through. We then get narration from Bruce saying, "If you hear this message, then I'm already gone. I'm broadcasting this not to explain myself, but as a warning. I am leaving, not because I hate you, not because I'm scared of you. I'm leaving because none of you will know how to deal with what I'm going to become. You all have your little plans, your armored suits, your rocket ships, all your clever ideas of how to deal with my monster should his actions not prove to be in your best interest. But you aren't dealing with him anymore. You're dealing with me. And I promise you have no plan for me, because I'm not controlled by my rage anymore. I'm fueled by it." With the comic ending of us seeing the Hulk still trying to punch through the doorway, Bruce locked him behind. Man, this issue took me for a freaking loop. It was a ton of fun, but the premise is absolutely crazy, with Banner now controlling the Hulk from the inside and piloting him like a starship towards some unknown pocket dimension. Banner clearly has something planned, but we don't know exactly what yet. We also don't know anything about the El Paso incident that was mentioned several times in this issue, but clearly that's what caused all this in the first place. Regardless, I'm digging where it's going so far, but what do you guys think of the Hulk issue 1? Let us know in the comments. And that's going to bring today's episode to a close, but if you enjoyed today's episode, check out this one right here. And if you like all of your content, subscribe, like, and comment. It helps us out. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.